Okay, folks, this is a video that was inspired by a post I made. Actually, it was a video first. It was a video first where I did my top 5 seasons of Tyler Perry television, and then I said, you know what, I gotta turn it into a post. So I did, and I put it on social media, and I've been getting some interesting responses from it. Now, it's going to vary because everybody has their favorite shows and whatnot, but for me, in the video I clarified before I went into the list that shows like If Loving You Is Wrong, House of Pain, Meet the Browns. I didn't watch every single episode, so I can't say with certainty which season is the best one. Like, for example, House of Pain, I don't think there was one particular season that was the best, because what worked about the original show so well is the storylines. Like, of course, everybody points to Janine being an addict, but I think it goes beyond just the one season of her, or 1 or 2 seasons of her being an addict. It was her entire journey from the struggling with going to rehab, eventually turning her life around, her and CJ dating other people, but then eventually getting back together. That's over the course of the show, not just one season. But I was thinking about just Tyler Perry stuff in general. And I remember when Beauty in Black came out, I did like a 40-something minute video talking about Tyler proved he hasn't lost his touch. And given that, and look, please let me know if I'm wrong, because I mentioned this in another video somewhere, but because I'm looking at a list of like 30-something videos pre-recorded that I still haven't edited yet. But Beauty in Black 2, I don't think had the same impact of part 1. Now, I don't know if it's the algorithm that hasn't been putting the show in front of me, but the little I have seen online from fans is that the show, the first half was better than the second. That's not to say the second half was bad, but it didn't get the traction of the first half, at least from what I've seen. But looking at like Duplicity, which I have not seen yet, some people did tell me about it recently, like, hey, I finally saw it. It was actually pretty decent. I just began thinking about how the reason I feel a lot of these Tyler Perry projects over the past like 5-6 years don't seem to have the oomph of his original stuff or the own network shows, particularly If Loving You Is Wrong or Have and Have Nots, is that there's no heart. I mean, yes, there are diamonds in the rough or needles in haystacks, like the 6888, for example. But they're few and far between. It's kind of like the current state of the MCU, where it's rare to find a show or movie that's actually good, because they put out so much stuff that a lot of it doesn't have any sort of quality to it. Now, I was talking with somebody a couple days ago, and I said, yeah, I mean, it's 2025. It's 2025. And when you look at Tyler Perry movies from the last like half decade and whatnot, let's think about it. Let's be real. It's currently 2025. When is the last time you heard somebody talk about A Fall from Grace? No, seriously, when was the last time you heard somebody talk about that film? But on the contrary, when's the last time you heard somebody talk about Daddy's Little Girls or Diary from a Mad Black Woman? Yeah, you're more inclined to hear somebody just reference that. Then when I thought about my post about the top 5 seasons, a lot of fans have reached out post season 8 of Sistas. Some people have told me, yeah, the hiatus is long, so actually, I went back and watched some of the older seasons, and yeah, I mean, I don't really see myself going back to rewatch them again in the future. Like, I'm just doing it to fill the void from season 8 to 9. But I'm like, dang, yeah, it's like the show just changed so much. I mean, there was some promise there, but looking at where the characters ended up, yeah, it's like I don't really see this show standing the test of time. I mean, yeah, there'll be elements about it people talk about, but let's be real. Zach and Fatima and the drama Karen brought to the table. And that's about it. And then I look at the current state of entertainment in general, and this isn't meant to be like a, trashing on all things Tyler Perry. I gotta applaud the man because he is playing the game and he's winning, because we live in the era of disposable media where so long as a project you put out breaks some sort of record or goes number one or is a trending topic, even if it's only for a little bit of time, then you've succeeded. I mean, and that's the thing about Tyler Perry. The fans come. It's like when Taylor Swift drops an album and she, I don't know, puts out like 6 to 8 different colored vinyls. Her fans are going to go buy them on the website or go to the store and buy them. And, boom, she's number one at the top of the charts. Tyler Perry is the same way. When he puts out something, a show or a movie, it's going to do numbers. It might be crap, but it does what it's supposed to do. But in the long run, I just don't see how this, what's the word? If it's a sustainable way of production. But then again, he is a billionaire. He's still getting contracts and he's still able to make these products, keep people working and whatnot. So there's that aspect of it. But I'm speaking from the perspective of a fan who was there from the beginning, the days of the plays and the movies, the early stuff. Because honestly, the post I made, I talked about how ever since the Haves and the Have-Nots season 1, I haven't seen another season of Tyler Perry television from 2013 onward that has surpassed the quality of that show. Particularly season 1 of the Haves and the Have-Nots. That's just because, well, it's just like musical artists. Once they hit a certain threshold, like they've made that hit record or that album that just took them to the top, they can kind of coast because it's like, hey, they've made it. I don't know if they can really do that so much nowadays because there's way too much competition. I'm more so talking about the era like in the 80s and whatnot, because think of it this way. Always reference like the Bobby Brown story part 1 when his brother Tommy went over to his house. This was like him and Whitney were just high all the time. And I think the house that he originally had, or the house that his parents stayed at, they were getting, notices about late payments and stuff like that. And Tommy went over there to chew him out because like, yo man, you spending way too much time with Whitney. All you doing is getting high. See, that's the thing. You lost the touch. You haven't been able to make any hit music. That's why the Bobby album didn't do well. Or the Forever album. I forgot what album it was. But basically, he drilled it into his brother's head, or at least attempted to, saying that because you didn't have the hunger for this recent work, it didn't do as well as Don't Be Cruel. When you were making that album, everything was on the line. It's like, look, you got to prove yourself or the label's going to drop you. But now it's like you made your fortune, but you're not continuing the sustainability of this lifestyle. Yeah, Don't Be Cruel broke records. You got, a lot of money from it. But in the long run, how is this going to help you move forward? Because you're floundering right now. But I just think about how the BET shows, man, I really wish I knew what was going on with the ratings. Are people just sick of the shows, or is it something else entirely? I guess we'll learn what's going on once Sistas comes back later this year. I mean, if ratings are, back up once the season starts, if they're able to turn it around, I honestly couldn't tell you. I mean, the world is crazy right now with everything going on in the political realm. And I think just yesterday I kept seeing posts about protests and stuff everywhere. I have no idea what was going on with that, but I don't know. I just think that the lack of substance is what's really driving me crazy about these Tyler Perry stuff. Like the other day I saw a reel with the opening scene of Tyler Perry's Divorce in Black, the funeral scene, the only scene people talk about from that film. And that's the thing though, because Tyler has this formula where when it comes to his TV shows, it's all about the cliffhangers. Like you can have 38 to 40 minutes of mediocrity. Like, yo, this is filler. This episode is boring. But then he'll throw in that one cliffhanger where it's like, damn it, now I got to come back next week. I don't want to. I hate myself for doing it, but Tyler left me on a cliffhanger, and I got to see what's next. And when it comes to the movies, I've really gotten to the point where I understand Tyler Perry films. It's like, I don't even think he comes up with a film concept. I think that he has one idea that he believes will go viral. Sometimes he'll stick it at the start of the movie. Sometimes it's in the middle. Sometimes it's at the tail end. And then he's like, okay, now I got to put together 70 to 85 more minutes for a project to make this work. Because I just think about Divorce in the Black. Aside from that funeral scene, nobody talks about that movie. Aside from like Corey Hardrick, pointing his two fingers at people, but that's it. Nobody talks about the film. When it comes to Madea Homecoming, I think the funniest, if not the best part of that film was when Brown set himself on fire on that grill. But that was in the opening scene. The rest of the movie was just mediocre. The only thing people talk about, aside from the Brown part, which nobody honestly even talks about these days, is when Tyler did Madea / Beyonce during the closing credits. But that's it. So, yeah, these shows just don't have that it factor that keeps people coming back for more. That's just my opinion, because to this day, BET airs reruns of the OG House of Pain, Meet the Browns. You just stop what you're doing and watch them. It doesn't matter it could be like Meet the Browns season 5 episode 22. You'll sit down and watch it because it's just good and funny. I mean, when you think about, what's that show coming out with Terry J. Vaughn? She the People. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, just because it seems like an original premise. It doesn't seem to be like a rehashing of a previous Tyler Perry show. And Terry is hilarious, so I just hope that this series is going to be very good, because I wouldn't mind reviewing it, but only if it's good and funny. Because another thing that was brought up in my conversation with another fan was the fact that I think what really has Tyler doing whatever is the fact that he's on these different streaming platforms, and he's not as restricted as he was on TBS or the OWN network. He's able to push the envelope. And rather than substance, it's all about the shock value. And I'm not talking about the one scene that goes viral or a cliffhanger that'll keep you coming back for more. It's just that for me, and I've made this point, on the channel countless times, I'm not a fan of gore or a lot of gratuity, nudity, or sex scenes. That's just not who I am. So for me, I just think it's unnecessary for some of these shows to just be completely over the top like that. I'm like, yo, do we really have to see dudes ding-a-ling on the TV? And who asked for this sex scene? Is that kind of thing. But that's just me. And I just feel like it's more of a, well, why the hell not? I can because BET Plus allows me to do it, and I can't do it on BET. I can because Netflix allows me to do it as opposed to the OWN network. And that's why I'm iffy on a Haves and Have-Nots or If Loving You Is Wrong revival. Because I could see those shows eventually coming back in the future, but I don't want them to come back, specifically the Haves and the Have-Nots. I don't want that show to come back if it's going to be on the level of sex and nudity and over-the-top violence as All the Queen's Men or Ruthless. That show had class. Yeah, there were some stuff in there, but overall, it had class. It felt like it was really a show that you could sit back and enjoy. And for the most part, the whole family can watch it. For the most part. Because there was some stuff in there that was like, whoa. But yeah, but when you think about like all these MA rated shows, I'm like, do they really need to be MA? It's like people who pull these, it's like, I don't know, you're scrolling and you see these women on Instagram who, are at one point people thought they were funny or talented, but instead they just started twerking and whatnot as, in order to get views because they couldn't think of anything to do to, garner, views on their content the organic way. And I feel like it's the same thing for Tyler Perry stuff, where it's like we get more zaniness, whether it be violence, sex, or characters, just blowing up places because there's no good story. But that's just my thoughts on it. So let me know what you feel in the comment section below. Do you agree with me in that a lot of current Tyler Perry media just lacks heart, quality, depth? Or is the Tyler Perry of old gone forever, and maybe every once in a blue moon we'll get a quality piece of entertainment, but for the most part, it's just an assembly line of shows and movies to meet a quota. So I don't know. All right, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.